Cool. We'll kick it off then. So thank you very much for joining our technology session. My name's Graham Nicholson. I work at SAP, and we're going to have a fireside chat today with Nic, who'll introduce himself in a second, just about the journey from process to product realisation, and the journey he's gone through with his company about implementing some parts of SAP software. Some of that I'm hoping will be immediately relevant to you because you want exactly the same solution and you can ask Nic all the hard questions or me about the product. Some of it I'm hoping will be relevant if you're implementing any form of solution because the process that Nic's gone through and we're going to talk through today is relevant whether you're implementing SAP solution or other party solutions and if you're going through any business process change inside your organisation as well. So thank you very much for joining. And we'll get you away to lunch on time. I can guarantee that with a room of this size. Even if you all have one question each, we'll still make lunch. So my name's Graham Nicholson. I work for SAP as an industry value advisor. And my day job is I spend 50% of my time evangelising SAP's new products to customers. So you understand what's available, you understand what the opportunities exist, and you think, well, that's a good product, I might like to implement that. I spend the other half of my day, arguably the harder part, making that product better in every way so that you don't see any product gaps and if there are opportunities that exist in your business and your improvement opportunities across our software, I work with our product engineering teams to accelerate that and get that to the market as quickly as we can. And today I'm joined by Nic. Now, I will make some apologies for Nic up front. Firstly, I want to thank him for joining me in the fireside chat really at quite last minute. So if this looks unpracticed and improvised, it could be because it's unpracticed and improvised. But we had a good chat yesterday, and I think Nic's got a good story to tell. But he really has joined us the last minute for this session, so I appreciate him doing that. And over to you, Nic. So thanks for joining today. Can you tell me a little bit about maybe your company first and then your role in the company?
Yes, so my name is Nic Estrade, so I'm from INPEX. INPEX is an oil and gas company, Japanese company. So in Tokyo, in Australia, we've got the main office here in Perth, but our operations are based in Darwin. So you've got the ICTIS project in Darwin with onshore gas plant and a warehouse. I've mentioned the warehouse because we will discuss that later on. And we also have next to that, we also have an offshore base to support our platforms. So we've got an FPSO and a CPF, so two offshore assets that are 400 kilometers away from Broome. We operate from Broome as well, our helicopters. So it's quite a bit of a logistic around to get all the parts offshore and so that is about INPEX. What I do at INPEX, at the moment I'm working on the S4 project, so we are migrating from our ECC to S4. I'm leading the technology part for logistic. So from the warehouses to the helicopters to the boat and all of that, just making sure that all those all our assets are covered, and I'm also doing BTM. So I've implemented Signavio at INPEX, and I've been leading that part. So to push through our project, everybody to use Signavio, and to as we wanted to follow the Activate methodology, and SAP recommended to use Signavio, so we went that path, and I think that's what we will discuss about.
Yeah, so the BTM, the Business Transformation Management element of that, and then inside that, so the project itself, what, and you joined this part of the way through, I think, and you changed that. Maybe you're a bit modest, but your role before technology as well. So you're not a technologist from the beginning. Where did you start, and then how did you end up in technology?
So I started like with INPEX. I started 12 years ago. Went to open the warehouse in Darwin, onshore warehouse. So learn and set up all those processes. And once the operation was running, time for a new challenge, so joined the shutdown team as the lead for supply chain for shutdown for offshore, and again put all the system and process in place for that. And we then, when we done major shutdowns and that, and I was like, okay, it's time for a new challenge. And the new challenge was then S4 that was coming apart. And because I've been able to do all those different roles and on the entire supply chain, I had a very good input and knowledge of what are problems on site, what are and how to use SAP or how to use warehouse management and how to use RLM, remote logistic. So yeah, bring all that together to then change hats and be part of the technology part.
Yeah. So the specific project we're going to play through today, that was a change brought about from, in part, my company and software going end of life, and some of it was that opportunity. So you were looking at warehouse management in the old school. You had warehouse management and remote logistics. And what was the driver there? What were you looking to implement? What was the target state for you out of that, from the two systems?
So we had a heavily customized warehouse management and RLM, and SAP told us that 2027 they will not be supported anymore. So there were decision to be made on, do we stay on our heavy customized solution, but then we have no support? Do we try to get our own support or create all of that, or do we take that as a, don't really have the choice at the beginning, but let's turn that to an opportunity to also review how we are doing things and going back from scratch. Because INPEX is being a young company, or as an operator, I mean, Equitis is the first operation gas plant we operate ourselves. So it's not like we copy and paste all our process and procedure from other plant and just change the name and all of that. We had to create everything from scratch. So some came from Woodside, some come from other company, and everybody, we then set up what we think was the best. And we did our processes like before we were operational, back in 2013 or 14. So after all of that, with some, with time and experience, and then we could see that some of our processes were not the best. But once you are, it's never the right time to change. Like there is always people pushing on that. So having the change, not the choice to change, that was a good opportunity to say, all right, let's take that as an opportunity and review all our processes, review all our the way we are doing things, what is critical for us, what is not critical for us, and so to then implement, to take that as a chance. So now the product that in logistic, they are changing from WM, warehouse management, to extended warehouse management. Extending warehouse management is a very mature product. Like it does the job. It's like no issue with that. Field logistic is a product which replaces RLM. So the goal of field logistic, EWM is to do the warehouse part. Field logistic is to bring from your warehouse to your remote. So where the complexity there is that you've got work order that one part from one plant or from one warehouse or the other one. You have all the logistic in part. You want to make sure that everything is kitted together, so the person offshore got just the box in it with all the material is got in. But field logistic, as an honest opinion, was maybe not that ready on time for that 2027 target, because if we want to be live on 2027, you need to do your project before. And the field logistic is maturing very quickly, but that was one of our challenge, was the maturity of that product. So we had to go on that.
How did you go through the impact assessment of that? Did you start with the process and see which parts of the process would be impacted? Did you start with the software? Did you start with whereabouts? How did you eat that elephant of a problem?
So we started by remapping all our processes. So because we had them in a software, and they were not updated almost since we created them. Because then once things are gone, no one look at it. So we say, how are we doing the job? So with Signavio, we then went to Darwin. We went to see everybody, all the stakeholders, and we remap what they are actually doing. That has uncovered a few interesting things. And after that, what we've done is with Signavio Intelligence, you've got the option to plug that to your ECC and to your data directly. So we've done that, and rather than to say what we think we do, we ask Signavio to tell us what is happening based on our data, because he knows that we've done a PR, a PO, and an invoice, and everything is recorded in a database and with timestamp. And that has been an eye-opener for everybody, because we were thinking we were doing a PR, a PO, and an invoice, and then you realize that you've got like 200 different variants, and everybody does something different, and so that has been an eye-opener to have that way of visualizing that. Sorry, my French accent. It's been very impressive to see that, and easy to then see all the business process owner and to show them, look, you think you do that, but actually you do that. And by showing that, it was selling a bit as well the plan on we need to standardize all of that. We need to have one way of doing things, and we need to, that come with the message of SAP, standards, fit to standard, and to stay clean core, which I can develop a bit later on. But the fit to standard was important, and the fact that those process owners business process owners were thinking doing something, and at the end they realized so many people were doing different way, was a very easy way to then push them to say, okay, we need to rework your processes, and you need to have only one agree way. And that's what now we redesign those processes. But so how we approach that, we've done, after we did the RISIS processes, we've done fit to standard workshops. So that is taking the best practice, and for field logistics, the best practice are very well documented. So that was, you present that to everybody, you do a live demo to everybody, and looking at where does that work, where does that don't work, and so we've done like hours and hours and weeks of meeting, and every single process going through and trying to understand where it fits, where it doesn't fit.
So that process mining then, from a heavily customized system, but particularly in the warehouse management side, did that process mining help you understand what bits of that were obsolete and what bits of that were needed and mandatory going forward when you came up with the new process? Did you dig into that detail as to what customizations are actually in use today to support the process?
It wasn't too much about our customization, but we done good discovery. One that I like to mention is like automated PO, for example. We discovered that we have some part of our PO that we were thinking were automated, like we design and customize to get to be made automatically, and we realized that we are touching them on average 16 times. So that is things that Signavio has allowed us to see, and to the kind of metrics that he has allowed us to then action. In logistic, the logistic part of Signavio is not in ECC, is not as complete as it will be in S4. So for that, we haven't been able to use it too much.
Okay, so the standard connectors were not quite all of the pieces that you expected to pick up, or told a part of the story, not all of the detail maybe?
Yeah, I think it's, I fully understand that SAP would not want to invest in ECC that is going out, and so I think I'm pretty sure that all the investment goes in a solution on with S4, which does make sense, I think. But a use we've done also with Signavio is really still using the connection to ECC, to at least on finance, on warehousing, maintenance, CNP or contract and procurement, is to get some KPIs of where we are, what are our trends, where do we have issue on that, and now we connect that in S4, the same process insight in S4, and now it allowed us to quickly see what has been the progress. So we are going to use that to monitor the success of our process, of our project, but also in the long run, the hope is to continue to use that as a quick insight, you've got defined KPI that SAP recommend based on their knowledge of our industry and all of that. So they are not all applicable to us. You take and leave, but there is enough to give managers and leaders like a very quick view on where they sit.
So after the project goes live, you still see a space where people are running Signavio and saying, we defined the standard process, and 99% of the time people are following that standard process, and here's the exception. You see a place for it going forward in your business, not just as a project enabler, but as an ongoing process, governance and guidance?
Yes. So we use it to draw new processes, and so the idea now is we know that when we are going to go live, there will be modification because we can't prepare for everything. So we will have to modify a few of those processes, and also a lot of people will be those processes being new because we changed solution with RLM to field logistic. We wanted to use Signavio as the go-to, so put that on an intranet, and then people to be able to go in and inside Signavio to be able to then see their new processes, and from there we connect to Enable Now. So that means it's also a path for them to be able to go and get the training. So rather than to go in your company, but us right now, it's you've got a big register with all the training and linked. It's sometimes a bit hard to find the information or QRGs or all of that. So the idea is really to use that as a spine. So people go there to get the process, but then they've got the relevant training for it. And we also go for the SAP part of our business. Put the transaction here, for example, not transaction, no, the Fiori app, because we go on S4, the Fiori app. And from that, we also put in the business catalogs and all of that. So that's because our goal is to now move the mentality of access role, that I need something, so I send a ticket for someone to allocate me a new Fiori app or a new thing. Now what we're deciding is, because we've mapped our processes the right way, if you want a role or access to a transaction or something that is not defined in a process, then you need first to go to the business process owner and ask for the process to be modified before we give you access. So we are going to use that for SAP security. Mm-hmm. And so hopefully our goal is to then keep our process moving and keep them up to date and as we go. So when we then want to do reporting on who is using what, and we have a clear picture from our process to our security to our training, all of that hopefully reline. And we also, with intelligence, you can run based on your data. So if I go back on PR to PO, you can create your own matrix, and then you can bring those metrics, into your processes. So if you are a procurement lead or whatever, you could then look at your process and see where in your process you've got issues or not. You can create. So that's something we are investigating at the moment, of trying to see the value of doing those dashboards in the process. But the idea is really to bring back processes as a core. It's not something you do once and then you leave on an intranet or on SharePoint or whatever. Yeah. It's bringing that as the spine.
No, that's good. So I was disappointed earlier in the conversation to find out that our product wasn't perfect, but not surprised, because as I said before, 50% of my day is making it more perfect. How did you go about closing gaps and looking at them? Because you've got a people, process owners, you've got a lot of business requirements, you've got a lot of people that really just want to run a warehouse and get on with their day, and everything is important to someone. That's how it got there to start with. How did you go through that balancing act between you've talked about fit to standard, and that's this is what's available out of the box. That's a good day for me. But then there's what SAP's building on their roadmap that you don't have yet. And then there are the gaps that are too far away for your program of work. How did you take the gaps list and prioritise those? And you said you're building some of them out yourself. Some of them you may not have built. How did you go through that process of everyone's wish list into the reality and the go live list?
Yeah. So at the end of our fit to standard, I don't remember the exact number, but we were above the 1,000 of requirement of we need this, we need that. That requirement on the product does that, but on top of that, we would like 1,000 more things. So of course we can't do everything, and especially when we've decided to fit to the standard. So we started by doing a first review and prioritizing of. Is that a showstopper for a business? Is that is that core to us? For example, we are an oil and gas company, so we are not a logistic company. We are not. What is our core? What does that bring value to our business to modify or to get top of the range solution? So once we've done that prioritization, we then try to bundle all those requirements and see to find a technical solution for it if it wasn't on an immediate roadmap or if SAP could not go through. But then we were going to what we call an SSB, so Solution Standardization Board, where the goal of the board there was to really challenge the business of why do you need that? Like, is that because is that safety issue? Is that like even after that prioritization is that safety? Is that making us more efficient, or is that just because of the ease? Is easier for the user? So it was really from the top leadership, really pushing back on why do you need it, and the business process owner had to go and defend it. So that's mean you got at general manager level to have to go and push for everything that we wanted to do different for them to go and push. All of that was in the idea of staying as close as possible to standard, and also staying clean core, and always been pushing. Why can you not stay standard? And it's interesting because at the beginning, people say, no, we can't action, we can't do that, we need it. And then you go again with Signavio, you look at what they are doing, and you realize that you are not using it anyway. You are not using it, or you don't use that transaction anyway, or you don't do that anyway, or you don't close this, or like it's been very interesting to see the fact that you are using processes and data to then be able to come to the business. Well, I don't see your justification there.
And the last thing on the clean core you mentioned to me yesterday is that one of the real benefits you saw of that was the upgrade time. So I think you said previously it would take you 6 months to go through an upgrade cycle. What's the summary of now that you're going a clean core approach? How long do you expect the upgrade to take next time versus last time?
So, because we were a very customized solution, it was taking a very long time to upgrade, and so that clean core and staying standard really helped us to upgrade very quickly. Like I think the last one we've done, so we went from 2023 FPS 3 to 25 FPS 1, and it took us 3 days. True that everything is not fully live and all of that, so it's not. It will be longer because we'll have more checks to do, but that gives us the option of to be able to choose when we want to upgrade. Where before upgrading was a pain, like was not something we wanted to do. But now, if we can see something that is on the roadmap or something that is being delivered by SAP and that is of interest, now we've got the option to do it. And that I think it's really something the businesses came to the party and understand of that AI is coming on everything. But so SAP are going to always deliver new things. But that gives us the choice to do it.
Very good. Well, questions? I think it's a question and answer part of the room. We'll see if anyone's got any immediate questions about that project, that product.
Change management would have been fairly significant there, I imagine. Everyone always pushes back, as you were saying, pushing back. No, we've got to do it this way, that way. So how did you implement a workable change management solution?
So, everybody pushed back. So we try to include the business into the project. So we ask them to come and be part of the fit to standard. So the recommendation normally from SAP on the Activate methodology is to get 2 or 3 SMEs in a room, and you do that with those 3. We went the opposite. We let a lot of people come, which may have explained 1,000 requirements on the list. But we wanted to show that we want to engage. We want to do that for them, and we want them on board. So for a lot of them, like I say, we had to scratch a lot of requirements because it was just not making it. But at least they feel they were engaged. And that's what we are trying to do all the way. So our change management team is always sending them update and things like that. But because we did also we remapped their processes. So we went to them and we explained what we were saying and all that. At the moment, we are busy in a campaign that we call the Milo, moment in the life of. So we are trying right now to show them, to do demos with them and saying, this is what it will look like. But we tailor it to their job. So with our processes, when we map them, we've identified that, for example, for logistics, we've got around 12 different roles, from a team leader to a warehouse operator to a material and logistic coordinator. So we've got those different roles. So each of them, we create what we call the Milo, the moment in the life of. And we go and present that to them. And when we do those demos, we again take their feedback because we are building right now all that. And so as things are becoming live, we show it. Because if we need to fix it, we need to fix it now. It's not when we will do UAT. That will be too far, too late. That will go on go live date. It would affect the go live date. So change management here really is engage. And now that they understand that, look, we don't have the choice. So let's embrace it and go for it. And being engaged, that's what really helped us.
Very good. Other questions from the room? So let's wrap it up then. So looking back at that, and you're not live yet for all of this, so you've got to look forward a little bit as much as back. But is there maybe one thing that you think is critical to success, and one thing that you wasted a lot of time on and you wouldn't? So if you had this chance again, what would you not do? What do you think was not valuable in the process?
I don't think I will not do. There is something that we will not do because no, I can't see anything that
it went okay, and there wasn't anything you got to the end of it and done weeks worth of effort and it didn't lead anywhere. It was well controlled up front.
There's some area where we could have done better. We can improve. Like data migration is a major topic. Like I can't focus on your data migration, cleansing, and all of that. So it's there's activity. Yeah, maybe we would slightly do different and all of that, but. The path to a migration, and again, we've decided to follow the Activate methodology. So clearly, it's you do one step after the other step after the other step. SAP has developed that. We think for a good reason. It's because they've done that before. We are not doing that very often. Like last time we did that was in 2000, when we started the project. So they are the experts. So we follow that and with our SI, and so I don't think we'll do much. I don't think something was really a waste of time. It bring clarity in some area. It was maybe not. Yeah, sorry. I can't.
More about executing it fine. And what was the? You've talked a lot about the process insights and the process design and Signavio up front. Any other one nugget you'd give to this room to say, make sure you do this bit really well? This is where the real difference was made? Documenting your process with the business and trying to even get from the business like someone that is interested by change, or some company call them change champions or whatever, and it's really getting the business to come and help doing it because it helps you then with your change management, and it's really after that bringing them insight, because then process insight, if you are familiar, is a bit out of the box solution for everybody. That brings a lot of knowledge. There is a lot of things that people don't realize that because it's just not part of our normal KPI. So it really helps you to, you can't hide something. Often I would say, and I'm not taking care, that's not INPEX, of course, that some manager, you will do you could do the KPI you want to report on and your upper management to see. Where insight is just, it's there. You can't change it, you can't do that, and everybody's got access to it. So it keeps you honest on things. And intelligence is a beast. So it can do a lot of things, but you need someone who knows to do SQL. So it's not open for everyone. And I'll bounce on what you think. If something we will do different, probably is I've gave access to a lot of people intelligence, and that's something I will change now, because in intelligence you've got plug and gain. So SAP provide an accelerator called plug and gain. So directly you are provided with a dashboard and metrics for procurement, for your assets, for logistic, but intelligence, because you can mine your data, you can just spend time and time and time and time. You really need to use insight to find where you've got issues, and then use intelligence when you identify the issue, use intelligence to go and mine that issue. That's something I'll bounce on that. That's something I will do differently. Thank you, Nic. We're at time. Good luck with your go live. Thank you very much for sharing your insights and perspiration and inspiration on through that. And thank you very much to the audience for listening in and playing along.